So stocks are selling off a little bit today, guys. Bond yields are rising, the 10-year and the 30-year, and we have to break down kind of what's going on, the charts, where my head's at, a couple earnings that came out from Home Depot, Klarna, I believe. What's the other one here, guys? Baidu, Chinese company. So yeah, let's dive into it. Hit the like button, make sure to subscribe, follow along for more content, and hit that Patreon link if you want to be a part of the community, see my trades, all my portfolio updates. That's in the bio and the comments, or go to stocsurfest.com/Patreon. And with that being said, guys, cheers. I appreciate you all for tuning in as always, and let's dive into it. So as of right now, the Qs are leading the red. Go figure, right? On a red day. The Qs are down 1.5%, and you guys can see right here, we're starting to draw down right near the 180 SMA on this 4-hour chart, as SPY is down not much really, only 0.5%, also pulling down towards the 180 moving average. And if we take a look here, if I extend this drawing to the right, bear with me here, guys, we're actually approaching a critical support, which was resistance for months, which we've talked about time and time again at 760 on SPY. That level is holding right now, and it needs to hold for the bulls here. And that is right by the 180 SMA as well on this time frame. So we're down 0.5% on SPY, about 1.5% on the Qs. The Russell's down about 1%, not too bad. This is actually above both moving averages still. It just hit all-time highs literally 2 trading days ago, guys, and it's pulling down. Not bad at all. None of these are bad. These are all healthy pullbacks, by the way. This isn't a crash. It's not, we're not going to do a crazy, dramatic thumbnail with a crash. It's not a crash. This is simply a pullback in the overall market. And again, we're holding trend. Russell only down 0.9% after just hitting all-time highs. Dow's barely down. The Dow Jones is only down, less than 0.25%. About 90 points right now, and buyers are already coming in above this 50 moving average. You guys see the green candlestick being put in, so we are looking strong across the board here, even though we're down across the board. VIX is up 3.6%. Oil continues to trickle up. I mean, crude, WTI crude is up 1.25%, 85 a barrel. Brent is at 92 a barrel, up 1%. These are not near the highs yet from where they were about a month ago, but we're starting to creep up again as the U.S.-Iran talks are stalling. Who the heck knows what's going to happen with that, when it's going to get resolved? The oil market clearly believes, it might not happen anytime soon. The Strait might be closed for longer. So we're seeing oil continue to truck along here, guys. Bitcoin's at 65K, up around 1%, not much, as silver and gold are both down. Silver's down 3.5% almost. Not the best day for the metals today, guys. Gold's down about 1.25%. So it's one of those days. Oil's up. Yields are up, right? 30-year, 10-year. Bitcoin's up. VIX is up about 4%, which I feel like the VIX could creep up even more. I was doing some research on the VIX around midterms. Usually the VIX does start to creep up leading into midterms. It peaks, I think I was reading, it usually peaks like 2 to 3 weeks, maybe before the actual election. So the VIX might continue to creep up here, guys. In fact, I think the VIX futures for November might already be at 20. So I mean, this is clearly starting to creep up. We got way too complacent on the VIX at 13, 14, and it's starting to pop. I don't know if it's going to go to 20, 25, 30 for sure, but during midterm elections, historically, based on the data, guys, that I was looking at, this creeps up to 18, 19, 20. It could get above that. And we'll see what happens after. Usually, like I said, it peaks around 2 weeks before the actual election. Then it starts to taper off a little bit. But yeah, keep your eyes on the VIX. The overall market, obviously, it's not that big a deal. We're selling off. How many green days have we had recently? I mean, not a crazy amount, but I mean, if we look on the 20-day chart, we have been pretty green this August. I mean, It's been 3 weeks in August so far, roughly. The Qs are up a good chunk, about 8%. Still, even with this pullback. So we've been doing well. We've been due for a little pullback. We're getting it. Now, if the Qs completely take out 700 again, yeah, that would not be good, right? But for now, we're nowhere near that. We're at 718. It's a little pullback, no big deal, is what I'm noticing on the charts. But I am considering some hedges here, guys, heading into midterms, beyond VIX calls. I talked about that in previous videos. I'm considering put spreads on the Qs right now. I'm considering potentially puts on SPY, but I think the Qs make more sense for my personal situation, considering I'm in, a lot of tech stocks, right? So that would be the proper hedge for me. There are a bunch of ways to do it. You can literally short the market, which I don't like doing that. If I'm going to short the market, I'm buying puts. I'm not traditionally shorting the market, guys. There's more downside to that than a fixed amount of contracts you buy, puts, whatever it may be. But that's kind of where my head's at right now. I don't think we're in a full-blown crash, obviously. I think things could get rocky heading into the midterms, possible, which is why I'm considering potentially VIX calls, put spreads on the Qs. Things could get a little rocky over the next couple of weeks, months. But are we in a full-blown crash? No, we're not. That's the reality. So let's cover a couple of stocks here quickly that had earnings. Break down the earnings, the charts, what's going on. So Home Depot reported the stock's up 0.75%, not bad in a red day, guys. And this stock hit 350 initially, I believe, or once the earnings came out, we hit 352, saw the drawdown to 330 at open. So talk about volatility. Now we're back to 340. So Home Depot reported earnings per share adjusted of $4.92 versus the $4.73 estimate on sales of $47.86 billion versus $47.27 billion expected. So double beat out of Home Depot. It looks like they got comparable sales for Q2 up 1.7%. Comparable sales in the U.S. up 1.3%. Pretty good. They reaffirmed their fiscal 26. It looks like guidance is that for, I guess, sales and EPS. So not bad, man, for Home Depot. They said they received $730 million in tariff refunds. Yeah, a lot of these corporations, guys, I'm sure you've seen, they're getting crazy tariff refunds, almost $1 billion for Home Depot, and I'm sure you've seen the other companies, which we're not going to get into now, but not a bad quarter out of Home Depot. The reaffirmed guidance is, well, reassuring. And the fact that we're up on a red day, we're consolidating at 340 is a good sign. But we're not obviously breaking out yet, fully breaking out yet. We need to take out at least 360. That's right around where we were, obviously, back in, earlier this month. Back in the early days of July, back in the middle of April, that's where we were. So we need to ultimately get out of 360. And in the very short term, we have to hold 340. That's critical, and actually start to rebound back towards 350, fill the gap to 360 to test the actual breakout. That's what we need to do here, on Home Depot. So let me see what other companies. Baidu reported, which I didn't look at this one. Oh man, this thing is tanking, guys. Baidu's down 12%, fresh low for the year. We're down to $91. We hit $165 back in January. Oof, what a rough year for Baidu. And this is why, look, I'm not the biggest fan of Chinese stocks, having a lot of money in Chinese stocks. I do own a speculative name right now, which hasn't been doing well. Admittedly, it's XNet. It's a very small position for me, guys. Very negligible, quite frankly. But I learned the Chinese lesson, the Chinese stock lesson back in, early 2020 or what? I forget when. A couple years ago, right? I bought Alibaba, and it wasn't a negligible position. I put a decent amount of money at the time in relation to my overall accounts, and it didn't do well. The numbers made sense, everything made sense, but it didn't do well. And owning a lot of these ADRs, man, it's risky. You could do well, but I wouldn't put a ton of money into them personally. So I learned the bigger lesson with Alibaba. I dabbled a little bit here with XNet again a couple months ago, and well, it's down. But I think there could be more upside potentially, or there could be upside in general and a lot of these Chinese names, but there's higher risk. And for XNet in particular, I'm just holding on, letting it ride. I'm going to give it another couple months and we'll reevaluate. But going back to Baidu, man, this thing is at a fresh low on the year. Earnings, let's see what they did quickly. EPS, oh man, they missed EPS and revenue. $1.06 EPS, that missed the $1.35. That's adjusted EPS on sales of $4.61 billion versus $4.65 billion. So they double missed. Oh, not a great sign. It looks like we're hearing the advertising cash cow is losing steam. They're doing an AI pivot. Let's see how that plays out. Honestly, I haven't been tracking Baidu too much, or really many of these Chinese companies at all. But if they get low enough, it might be worth looking deeper into. But then again, with a super small amount of money, I'd much rather just buy a Chinese ETF if I want to get exposure to that theme. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Baidu's fallen off a cliff. I doubt many of you guys own Baidu. Maybe, I'm sure somebody does out there watching. But yeah, that's my thought on Chinese stocks. I learned a bigger lesson a couple years ago going heavily into Alibaba. And now when I mess with them, if I even do, I use a speculative amount of money, a smaller amount of money, just because I lost a decent chunk on Alibaba. That's the reality. And Klarna reported, and guys, it's down 20%. Klarna's not looking good, man. We thought potentially it was setting up for a breakout. This is why I don't gamble on earnings. A lot of the time, it's beneficial to me. If I bought calls on Klarna, I wasn't going to, but let's say I did. This will not be good, and sometimes when you kind of want to gamble on earnings, you're about to, and you hold off and you think about your principles in trading and investing, sometimes you're going to lose out on money. That's the reality. But a lot of the time you're going to save yourself a bunch of money, right? That's the reality too. And for me, guys, listen, I don't trade the earnings, and a lot of the time I'm like, phew, thank God I didn't do it. But sometimes I'm like, the greedy side of me comes in, and I'm like, I should have done it, man. With Palantir, I was about to buy calls on Palantir, and I would have made so much money. That's one that I missed out on. You know what I mean? It's part of it. It's part of sticking to the rules of your plan, your principles of trading. And for me, I'm just not in the business of gambling on earnings at this point. When I first started trading, when I didn't have much money 10 years ago, 11 years ago, yeah, sure, I was gambling on earnings. I was trying to make a ton of money fast, get rich quick. And we learned some lessons. So Klarna reported, let me see here, guys. They reported earnings of a penny, a whopping penny, versus the loss of 5 cents from last year on sales of $1.04 billion versus $993 million. So double beat out of Klarna. They see full year sales of $4.08 to $4.16 billion versus $4.41 billion. So pretty good numbers out of Klarna for the guidance. Actually, no, I read that wrong. No, that is not good guidance. Okay, that is why they're tanking. Okay, they beat EPS and revenue. I read it wrong there, guys. But their guidance, oh my God, they now see 4.08 to 4.16 versus 4.41 billion expected for the full year revenue. That is why the stock's tanking. So, I mean, listen, Klarna is one of those where buy now, pay later. I'm not a big fan of this in society. When people buy now, pay later for like a burrito or something, I just face palm and I'm like, oh my goodness, what has America come to? What has this country come to? I get it. Inflation, times are tough for some people, but if you are doing Klarna for a freaking burrito, don't do it. Don't do it. I mean, this stuff is crazy. You would think with the economy not being so good, quote unquote. Klarna would be doing well, but they have not been doing well, their stock at least. And it's one of those where, again, it's like, I get why people use it, but it's like, I think it's bad for society. You would think the stock would do well, but it's not. So it's like, I don't know what to do with it. So I'm just keeping it on the watch list for now. Overall, man, not every stock's down. Not every stock's down today. The indices are all down. A lot of these stocks are tanking that we covered today, but names like, well, Duolingo, we're up 7%. Some of these software names are not doing so bad. It's the day of software. It seems like every time we have a nasty day on the Qs, at least recently, sometimes, these software names have been doing pretty well in the face of the red days. We have stocks like CRM up 3.3%. Toast, which I'm long, up 2.7%. Very nice bounce for Toast today, guys. And Toast is up roughly off the lows about 60%, 55-60%. So day of the software today. Apple's doing well too when it comes to big tech. Apple hit 311, I think, earlier. Now it's back to 309, but still it's up 1.25%. We're arguably putting in a bottom here on Apple, and I might trade this thing, honestly. If it starts to confirm a bounce back over 315 towards 320, that could be a confirmation on Apple. So I like the way that's shaping up. ServiceNow is up 1.8% on the day. Even Tesla's somehow squeezing in a green day here. And Google, I keep looking at Google, guys, and I'm like, get under 340. I'm watching it. I'm looking to buy more. We did get to 338 this morning. I want it even lower. Get under 340. Honestly, get to the 320s, and I'm going to be buying Google hand over fist for the first time probably in like 2 years. I haven't bought a ton of Google in the last 2 years. I've nibbled here and there, right? But yeah, I'm waiting for this to come down a little bit more, and I think we might get it. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Hit the like button. I'm rambling a little bit, so let's wrap it up here. And make sure to subscribe. Hit the follow button and join my Patreon if you guys want to keep up with my portfolio updates, trades, investments. If you want to be a part of my private Discord, that's linked down below, pinned in the comments, or go to stocksurfest.com/Patreon. I'll see you guys in there. And with that being said, cheers. Have a great rest of your day.